What is happening, everybody? Thanks for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Super pumped about today's episode. Got something totally different from anything that I have ever done before. I have never done an air rifle review. Today is the first. I have the privilege of having the Gamo Swarm 10X Gen 2 air rifle to review today. Not only am I going to sit in here and talk about all the specs, but I am actually going to slap this scope on it, which is included in the kit, and I'm going to get it outside and I'm going to actually try this thing out all the way out to 100 yards, and we're going to see what this pellet rifle will do. Now, this is a 22 caliber pellet rifle. I've got some 18.5 grain pellets that I'm going to be using. I didn't buy multiple brands or weights. I just ordered what I got, so whatever happens today, I'm sure you could play around with different grain weight and maybe get some better accuracy. But today, as I said, I've got the Swarm 10X Gen 2. This is a gas piston break action 10-shot pellet rifle. This thing includes this little kind of a rotary looking 10-shot magazine. You load your pellets in it and it clips right into the top part of the barrel where it breaks. Just right there. Clips right in. To load it, you don't have to push any buttons or anything. It just breaks. Cock it down. It'll stay like that if you need it to for some reason. Put it back into that position and you're loaded and ready to fire. Now, this thing is advertised as sending one of those 22 caliber pellets downrange at about 1,300 feet per second. It has some sort of sound suppression type device, and it is advertised as having the Gamo sound technology, same as the Whisper Fusion. Supposed to be the quietest air rifle available. Quietest Gamo air rifle available anyway, we'll say. As far as that trigger, now it's advertised as being adjustable down to 3 pounds. They do give the disclaimer that if you adjust it down to 3 pounds, if you drop it, there is potential that it could go off. I did not adjust this one because it's really not bad. It doesn't seem like a bad trigger as is. The safety is right here in front of the trigger. So, and it looks like a second trigger. If you've got it pulled back, then it's unsafe. If you push that little switch forward, then it's fire. It's ready to go. So, you know, that's pretty cool. You've got a synthetic thumb hold stock with a cheek piece that looks like it's adjustable, but it's not. The recoil pad in this has these little 3 removable plastic pieces on the end of it. I really have no idea what the purpose of that is, because it does not have any recoil whatsoever. I think I would just take those out, because that's just all the less weight that you're going to have in this thing, and it is not heavy at all. As far as the overall length, you're going to have 49.5 inches from the end of the barrel to the back of the buttstock, and the barrel is at the break about 19.5 inches. Now, this is a rifled steel barrel, so it's pretty good quality rifled barrel for a pellet gun. That's pretty daggone awesome. It comes with adjustable sights, and the adjustable sight really stands out. So I really like that, but it does also come with the Gamo 3-9 by 40 millimeter objective scope. I am definitely going to put that on. I'm a proponent of scopes. I like having a scope, so putting a scope on this is going to be pretty daggone cool. So for all my testing from this point on, I'm going to be slapping that scope on it and see what we can do. But you know, overall, it's really light, feels really good. Maybe just a little bit front heavy, perhaps. Not terribly so, but definitely just a little front heavy. But that'll probably balance out once we put that scope on it. I'm anxious to see how this thing is going to shoot. So let's slap the scope on this thing, get it outside, and see what she's going to do. Okay, I've got my scope on. I've got it good and level. In case you want to know what I torqued it down to, I torqued my base down to 20 inch-pounds, and I torqued my rings down to 15 inch-pounds. Obviously, with this light of a recoil, that might even be a little bit on the high side, but 20 and 15 is definitely not going to cause any kind of harm. So, and it should stay pretty tight. So we're all leveled up, locked down. Let's get it outside and see what it's going to do.
Right. And you're setting something out.
I think that's, in my defense, the voice is always when I'm having this argument with.
Okay, I've got it sighted in. I want to show you really quick how to load it. Okay, the 10-round magazine comes out just by pressing that, just a little lever right there I'm pressing with my thumb, and it just pops that mag right out. Super, super easy. It's spring loaded, so it'll fling it out. This is your little 10-round mag. To load the mag, all you've got to do, it's got little number indicators on it to show you how many rounds you've got in it. You just spin it to the blank spot. You can see that there's nothing there. I'm going to take a pellet, push it right down in the top. Then I'm going to move on to the next one. And you just repeat that process until you've got 10 rounds in it. And it is just as simple as that. I will say that it does take a little bit of force to get that gun cocked, but if it's that advertised 1,300 feet per second, throwing these pellets down range, it's taking a little bit of pressure built up on the inside of that thing. So, you got to put a little muscle into it to get it to cock. But so far, so good. Sometimes too, in loading this, I can't get which if your hand's a little smaller, you might get it, but sometimes I'm having them kind of hang up just because I can't cram my finger down in there far enough, and I'm having to grab another pellet and kind of push down on the top of that one, the other one a little bit, and then move on to the next one. But seems like as I've used this mag a couple times, they're going in just a little bit easier now. And that's it. So it's showing me I've got 10 rounds in there. It's stopped on number 10. So I'll just clip that back into the gun and get going. Just shot 10 shots at 35 yards. Here was my aiming point. My first 6 shots hit here. I actually made an adjustment on my 5th shot, and I guess the scope didn't take it. Being a cheaper scope, I should have adjusted it and then kind of pecked on it to get it to go. So on my sixth shot, I still hit here, so I've actually got a 6-shot group that's just within 2 inches of my aiming point. I had raised it, so then on my 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th shots, I'm right here, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. I pulled this one. I'm positive that I pulled this one. So you can see with that at the top of my thumb being my aim point, these shots, and like I said, I pulled that one 35 yards. If you're shooting rodents or if you're shooting groundhogs, whatever you're hunting within 35 yards, you're definitely going to be able to hit it, unless you're literally shooting at little bitty mice, and then you might miss a mouse at 35 yards. Okay, so I tried 50 yards, and what I've got going on now, right here was my aim point, and I hit here and here. So I hit 5 and 6 inches low. Good left and right, pretty good left and right. You know, no more than an inch and a half that way, inch and a half this way. But that's, you know, that's 5 and 6 inches low at 50 yards. I tried 2 shots at 100 yards, and I want to show you what happened. Aiming dead on, the first time I tried to aim dead in the center, and I could tell by the sound of it, because it is quite quiet. It is very quiet when you're shooting it outside. Nothing, no impact. You can hear just a little bit of a plop when it hits that target. And my first shot, when I aimed dead center, I had nothing. I heard nothing. So the second shot, I actually aimed at the very, very top edge right here at 100 yards. And right here is my impact. Right at the very bottom. Now this is a 12-inch target. So that means that this pellet had 12 inches of drop. 12 inches of drop at 100 yards. So I'm going to really have to question the lethality at that range. You know, if you had a ballistic drop compensating scope, obviously you could compensate for that. I was good left and right. You can see, you know, right here's my center line. So I shot exactly an inch and a half to the right of center. But I was 12 inches below my aiming point. So my final thoughts on the Gamo Swarm 22 caliber air rifle. If you are the person that is looking for close range, out to 40 yards, super silent, or if you're only looking for plinking, taking those nuisance species, you know, you got raccoon problems or you got skunk problems, rats, out to 30, 40 yards, the Gamo Swarm is going to get it done. If you're wanting some inexpensive plinking as opposed to a 22 caliber, the Gamo is very accurate. I was really impressed, you know, at that 35-yard range with that. 1,300 feet per second for an air rifle was very cool. It's very well made, very well put together. And for plinking purposes, you know, you could get a scope that has the ballistic drop compensating reticle. And I was staying accurate at 50 to 100 yards on the test shots that I did. The problem was just the drop, and I'm sure at those ranges with that much drop, and knowing that it only starts out at 1,300 feet per second. Anyway, you know, I would not try to shoot a skunk at 50 yards with it, but I'm sure out to 30 or 40, it's going to be golden. So, you know, if you're looking for that inexpensive option, even more so than a 22 rifle, and especially much less noise, man. You know, you're not going to have hearing protection. And coming in potentially to some of the rulings that's maybe going to come down from our government, restricting of online purchases of gun items or whatever they do, I'm sure a pellet rifle is a pretty good option to have. Not only is it going to stay inexpensive for the weapon and for the ammo, but they're not going to block you from buying that, I wouldn't think. Pellets, surely you can grab them from Amazon or wherever. So it seems like a good option for that. So for the plinking, for the close range stuff, if you need something that's really quiet, the Gamo Swarm was very accurate. It was really cool. Definitely, you know, if I would have had that as a kid, as opposed to the old Crossman that I had, you know, the pump action Crossman, and those were awesome. But this is definitely a major step up from that. It was really cool to get to shoot it, and that's my first air rifle other than those old Crossmans and things like that. So Gamo's got a cool thing. If you want to do the plinking, or if you want the silent weapon that's going to be good out to 30 or 40 yards, then the Gamo Swarm 22 caliber air rifle is going to get it done. I appreciate you guys for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Roll on over to huntshootlive.com. Check out our website. Got a lot of good articles and blogs and things there. And check us out on social media. Send us a message. Give us some recommendations for what you want to see on the channel. We appreciate you guys as always. God bless you. We'll see you next time.